The PWI 500 list has dropped today. And of course, it's a bullshit, nonsensical, narcissistic, farcical, kayfabe list. So let's get that out of the way first. That being said, of course, it wouldn't be entertaining if we didn't break it down. I'm Aaron X. I'm joined by the Maple Leaf magician himself, Kyle Wilkinson, Canada's own, to discuss the PWI 500. What's your yearly reaction to the PWI 500? Do you feel that it's a credible list before we break down this year's winners and losers?
I mean, I don't honestly care. I guess it's kind of cool to see how they break down a superstar's career in a year. But for the most part, we said this last year, the list is arbitrary. It's just some 10 people sitting around a table, sweaty eating Cheetos going, this guy did good, but this lady did bad. So it's cool for content. It's great. But honestly, I don't care.
I try as I may. I used to get emotional like everybody else. I've just got to that age now. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything. I think overall they tend to get the list reasonably well. But you've got to remember as well. So for anyone who may not know, the list isn't just made up of real life kind of wrestling. Like who did the best in the industry. It's they take into account your kayfabe wins and losses record. Things of that nature. How many titles you held, how long you held the title for, which is very indicative of who won it. So, without further ado, Kenny Omega is number one. Roman Reigns is number two. That's where the first kind of talking point is. WWE marks think that Roman Reigns should be number one. AEW marks are always going to say Kenny Omega should be number one. People who are indifferent probably don't really care that much. If you had a choice, who do you think's had a better year? Roman Reigns or Kenny Omega?
Roman, absolutely. I think he has beaten much higher caliber opponents than Kenny Omega. No insult to the people Kenny faced, but Roman was top of the top. Edge twice, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, Cesaro. It's the cream of the crop. And his character work has been impeccable. The storylines, especially with the Usos, have been top notch. And Kenny's kind of felt like a backstage player in his own stories sometimes. Just, he's got the Elite to help him out all the time. Roman has the Usos, fine, but I don't know. I still think that Roman's year was better.
I agree, and not because I'm a WWE mark, but because, for instance, I saw someone, obviously, the immediate reaction was WWE fans saying, this is bullshit, Roman Reigns should be number one. And the funny thing is, finally, Roman Reigns has the perfect year in his career, and he doesn't even get number one on the list because, let's be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if there's plenty of, money. Tony Khan's probably throwing a little wad of cash around. Hey, a little bit of extra something if you give my wrestler number one. You know what I'm saying? Would not surprise me. Roman Reigns definitely had a better year. He had better opponents, better promo, better. I don't think he's a better in-ring wrestler. I think that's very naive to say that. I think Kenny Omega's clearly a better athlete. And I'm, that's the thing. I'm more honest on here than a lot of people. That's why I pride myself on WrestlePlug, and that's why I want WrestlePlug to thrive, because I feel like we give you the most honest opinions. I don't like Kenny Omega personally. I think he's very boring and overrated, but he's definitely a better athlete. He's definitely a more agile and more, thrilling looking athlete in the way he moves and stuff like that. But a lot of his stuff doesn't mean anything. Roman Reigns is very deliberate. The pace is very deliberate. Roman Reigns is an athlete in his own right, different kind of athlete. Not necessarily a wrestling athlete, more a sports athlete. And you could see that with the college football background. But like you say, the credibility of who he's beaten in that run over the last year is, for me, so much more impressive than what Kenny Omega's done. Like you say, it's not taken away from who Kenny Omega's faced, but Christian Cage, yeah, that's great, but it's Christian. We're just happy to see Christian. He's a great worker, but he's not a mega star anymore. He's definitely more of an enhancement legend in many ways. Who else is he beating? Jungle Boy, very flippantly. He had that horrible rivalry with John Moxley. Who can forget? This is the other thing. So I noticed the AEW fans are basically using the argument, well, the reason that Kenny Omega's number one is because he's a better champion and he's had more interesting rivalries. Has he, though? I don't one of the big arguments I saw was Roman Reigns is boring and all of his matches have been boring. I'm sorry, you clearly haven't watched them. His matches with Kevin Owens were masterful. Someone said that they were botch fests. And also all these matches were so predictable with the Usos getting involved. Again, shows that you haven't been watching, because actually he's had 2 or 3 massive clean wins using the guillotine chokehold. Like you say, the credibility of this. However, the list itself, I could dwell on that forever. If you're an AEW mark, doesn't matter. Honestly, Kenny Omega could quite literally hang puppies on live TV. They give it to him at number 1 because they want their boy to succeed, as do the WWE marks want Roman Reigns to succeed. Who is your personal best wrestler of the last year?
It's hard to debate Roman. Roman did incredibly well, but I mean, we spare a love for Josh Alexander on this podcast every fucking time. So
yeah, so Josh Alexander is my wrestler of the year in the last year. Now, would you hazard a guess as to where Josh Alexander is on this list?
I would like to say top 20.
Joshua Alexander is currently placed at 107.
They're fucking drunk. I'm leaving. I don't even want to talk about this.
I don't use this word very often. They're retarded. Like, I'm sorry. You don't watch wrestling if you think Joshua Alexander is the 107th best wrestler in the world. By the way, Joey Janela is above Joshua Alexander.
Fuck no.
Yeah. El Desperado. Black Taurus. I like Black Taurus, but come on.
I don't even know who that is.
The guy with the mask who's in Decay. The Mexican. Okay. Effie. Powerhouse Hobbs apparently has had a better year according to PWI than Joshua Alexander. Eddie Edwards has had a better year than Joshua Alexander. Has Myron Reed. Brian Cage, who's literally done nothing. Nakamura. Just astounding. Like, with all due respect to Trevor Murdoch, who is now the NWA champion, he has literally done fuck all until this point. He's had a reasonably good rivalry. Rohit Raju's above Joshua Alexander. Okay. Some of these wrestlers, Apollo Crews, Tony Deppen. Kevin Owens is 63. You think how good he is. Some guy called Shun Skywalker, never heard of him, but he's apparently 58. It's just bullshit. Leo Rush is 53. How much wrestling did Leo Rush do in the last year?
He announced a retirement.
This is why this list is a load of fucking garbage. It is. It's fucking garbage. And I said earlier on Twitter, and I stand by it, at WrestlePlug, follow us because it's good fun. This is a purely divisive, division-bearing list. This list is designed solely to upset wrestling fans, to have them. So, it's not made with the actual pretense of celebrating the best wrestlers in the world. It's made solely to troll people.
Absolutely, it is. It's made to piss people off.
How good a year has Jey Uso had? He got 45th. He's behind Dragon Lee, and Jay White was only 39. Adam Cole was 37. Daniel Bryan was 36. Fuck me. Look at this, right? 32, Cesaro. 33, Pac. 34, Adam Page. 35, AJ Styles. 36, Daniel Bryan. 37, Adam Cole. Holy shit. It's like a who's who of the best wrestlers in the world there.
And they barely cracked the top 50.
The longest serving NWA champion of the modern era, Nick Aldis. He's 30th. Volta is 28th. Now, admittedly, I can understand it being slightly lower. Orange Cassidy is above Volta.
Nope. Absolutely not.
I'm sorry,
that's
only a fucking
insulting.
Retard thinks that's insulting to the professional wrestling business. That's insulting. That's where I get angry at the list. I don't really care that much, but that's where it really fucking pisses me off. Seriously? I can understand a lot of people on this list, but holy shit. Now, the top 10 is Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley's number 3, understandably. Drew McIntyre's number 4. We all know why that is, because of WWE title reigns. Kota Ibushi's number 5. Moxley's number 6. What has Moxley done in the last year? Someone please explain that to me. Will Ospreay's number 7. Finn Balor's number 8. Great run in NXT. Nice to see him break in there. Shingo Takagi. I love Shingo. I'm actually really pleased at number 10, Rich Swann. I think he deserves a lot of respect for what he's done.
That's awesome.
Cody Rhodes is 11, which is hilarious. Because literally all he's done is just try and put himself over. And he takes 3 months off at a time. The list is a joke. It really is. I despair with it. You know, I'm always intrigued as to who finishes bottom of the list. Lulu Pencil is 500. I don't know who Lulu Pencil is, but congratulations on getting in. Swoggle is 494. You know, Ryan Nemeth, you know, that big star that AEW fans claim is a big star. He's 491. Huge star. You know, things like that. I'll tell you what does surprise me. Peter Williams only got in at 481. So yeah,
shame.
It is. You know, there's names in there. They're tattered around. I think they get past like 50, and then they just chuck them in anywhere and just kind of, you know, move them around a little bit to maybe kind of make themselves feel like Dan Maloney had one of the best fucking runs on the British indie scene in the last year, despite the fucking pandemic, and he is 436. You know, so Humberto Carrillo is he's higher than him. That's just insulting in every sense. Like, it's so insulting, it's funny. But that, you know, that's something. Robbie Eagles, for instance, we all know how well he's been doing. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and everything. He's 407th. He's one of the best cruiserweights in the world. So, should I take it seriously? No. Am I going to take it seriously? No. Tommy Dreamer's above Robbie Eagles. Right. Ouch. Yeah, it is what it is. However, obviously our wonderful fans have opinions, and I thought they were worth sharing. I asked people on our Facebook page, what do you think about Kenny Omega finishing number 1, Roman Reigns finishing number 2? Rocky Braxton, I agree. Kenny Omega has been on a roll this year. Roman has fought the bigger superstars because WWE can provide them, but Omega is gold right now. This is perfect. That's a lazy argument, though. Roman doesn't deserve number 1 because WWE provides him with bigger stars to wrestle. That's how booking works. You can't say Kenny Omega deserves it, even though he doesn't have. What you're essentially admitting there is that AEW doesn't have enough stars to feed to Kenny Omega. Or maybe Kenny Omega isn't a star. Maybe that's the problem. Jamie Knopp, I love this guy. That is bullshit. Roman is the tribal chief and has held the Universal Championship for over a year. He has beaten anyone that has come up against him. My God, he beat 2 legends in a row, Edge at Money in the Bank and Cena at SummerSlam. He even beat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. And then it just develops into a fantastic argument, which I will share with the audience. Jason Gonzalez, 1 belt versus 6 belts at the same time. Jamie Knott, it's still bullshit. AEW is just like WCW. Jason Gonzalez, yeah. Karma is coming for Vince, and deep inside, you know it. Unfortunately, the WWE has nothing more to offer because of Vince's old and washed out ideas. Just enjoy the show, Jamie Knott. Okay, that exactly what they said in the 90s.
Well, that was a statement.
Yeah, the WWE is done. Vince doesn't know what he is doing, but we all know what just happened. Where is WCW now? Vince may be old now, but WWE is still the juggernaut. Jason Gonzalez, yeah, there's one difference. Vince is 76 years old. He had passion back in the 90s. Now he doesn't. AEW owner is young, passionate, and he and his father have way more money than Vince, and nothing lasts forever. Nothing. Jamie Knopp, okay, why can't AEW attract the big stars then? David Aldana saying also that Jason Gonzalez has an irrelevant argument because Vince would never allow that. And then it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on.
Jesus, savages.
Yeah, they just keep going. Seriously, they are at each other's throats, and there are a lot more to it. I mean, but ironically enough, the reason I bring this up is this is a microcosm of what this list does. They release it, and then what's going on here? Super WWE mark, super AEW mark. Hilarious that, you know, a WWE mark, you know, he's kind of like, you know, just so all in on Roman Reigns' dick. But on the flip side of things, you know, the AEW mark saying that, oh, you know, Tony Khan and his dad have more money. So did Ted Turner, dickhead. Ted Turner had so much more money than Vince McMahon. Billions upon billions upon billions, and Vince McMahon shit-canned him. So, you know, I'm sorry, good business can usurp lots more money. It can. It absolutely can. So, you know, it's a long marathon. And this idea that, you know, it's really funny how everyone wants WWE to die. Where do all these people go then? Because they can't all fit in AEW. There ain't enough room. Unless AEW is going to have a show every week on YouTube for 3 hours. I dread the thought, perish the thought, but This is it. You know, you sit there, you look at the PWI 500, and your blood pressure starts to rise. That's what it does. It annoys you. Any final thoughts, mate?
No, I mean, I saw on Twitter, fucking Will Ospreay is like, I could be at number one like every day of the week and
Kenny
twice on
Omega
Sunday.
shit talking him, yeah.
Yeah, because he's
building up a match.
yeah, because he said that, and then Kenny retweet like quote tweeted like, yeah, you know, that company's been dead since I left. I thought you guys would be big top competition, but the only competition I had was a big dog. And I'm like, ha, like that was funny. That's the funniest thing I've seen Kenny Omega do ever.
Yeah, he's not a very funny person.
No, he's not.
See, the problem is Kenny Omega's fans sum him up because they're all like him. They're all a bunch of douches and nerds and losers. You know, they sit there and go, oh, nice one, Kenny burned him on Twitter.
Got him.
Like, great. You can take that down the shop and that'll fucking get you a nice pint of milk, won't it? Oh, do you have any money? No, but I got this sick burn on Twitter. Sick burn. Fucking who gives a shit? You fucking sweaty nerds, honestly. It's just fucking embarrassing, mate. And there's nothing wrong with being a nerd, but being a sweaty one that lives in your own basement, come on, man. Come on. Yeah, PWI 500, as it is every year, utter bullshit. I'm not taking the list that has Joshua Alexander 107 seriously. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you very soon for more news from the Wrestle Club.